What's that?
I said you would use a bet with Christian.
Yeah, we had a wager.
Oh.
So
Track slip.
I pay my debts.
Very clashing. Clashing.
Flo, how important to you is the continuity on the offensive line? For various reasons, you've had to run out 5 different groups so far. I'm sure it helps finally having a set group and not having to mix and match all the time to find the best 5.
Yeah, I mean, you always want continuity. You always want to play the same group and build that communication, build that, those relationships on the field. You always want that for a myriad of reasons. That's that could change. That could be because of play or performance. That could be because of injury, which we've dealt with really all of that. Hopeful this week that we can continue to play the same group and build some continuity that you're talking about. But yeah, I think it's important. And but every situation on every team, that can change basically on any play. You got to be ready to make adjustments as well.
When Austin Jackson was the 18th pick in the draft, obviously most folks thought, hey, he's our long-term left tackle. I'm just curious about the process that you and the staff go through when making evaluations about who should play where and who should play at all. What role, if at any, does a guy's draft status and expectations relative to that play in the decision-making process?
I think once a guy gets here, we really don't. Well, I don't really care where he was drafted. Drafted, free agent, trade, waiver wire. I mean, I think we've made picked up. We'll use really all those avenues to acquire players. When they get here, it's about the way guys compete and players taking advantage of their opportunity and then being productive in whatever role they're given. So that's really the conversation. It's never, hey, he was this pick or that pick or I really don't try to do what's best for the team, best for the organization. That's always kind of the where we start, and it'll always be that way.
Brian, with Tua being designated for return, you expect him at practice today?
He'll be at practice, yes. We're excited to get him back. I know he's excited to get out there. We can take it one day at a time still, but we're moving enough in the right direction that he'll be out there. He'll have an opportunity to practice and hopefully play in the game.
How's he feeling? I know you said he's still dealing with a good bit of pain. And it's kind of about pain management or tolerance on.
Yeah, if you ask him, he's 100%. He's fine. So he's not going to tell anybody any different. And he's made a lot of progress. But we know he's dealing with something, and he's going to tough it out. I mean, that's just the type of kid he is. And but we just got to see how it goes through practice. I'll give him, get back into the swing of things, and we're hopeful that he'll do well in practice today and be available this weekend.
Well, I know backups always say that they prepare as the starter.
Yeah.
But if you do have uncertainty in that position about who will start for you Sunday, does that change anything as far as how today and tomorrow go? If there is still some questions about who's going to be the starter?
Are you speaking specific to injury or?
Not specific. I'm saying if you need to wait and see, like you said,
Yeah.
you're going to see how Tua fares today.
Mm-hmm.
Most weeks you have an idea by now who your starter will be, and I know backups always prepare as if they're going to be the guy. But if you have uncertainty at any position, whether it's that position or any other, does that change, well, particularly with quarterback, does that change the way you have to? Does it change what you look for? Does it change the way you practice? Does it change anything as far as reps and all those things over the next couple of days?
As far as game planning, no. I would say it doesn't change, kind of the conceptually what we want to do, how we want to attack, how we want to defend, how we want to play in the kicking game conceptually. I think what we want to do is what we want to do, so we do that with either quarterback. their skill sets obviously would change some things, but I'm not sure if I'm answering your question correctly. But no, I would say we don't really change anything from a game plan standpoint, or I would say not too much, based on players. But look, specific to the quarterback. Tua's obviously dealing with something. Jacoby's dealing with something. We'll see how this goes in practice. My expectation is that both guys will be available, and we'll we got to see how it goes. I mean, it's with both guys. That's my expectation, but I think we got to see how it goes.
Brian, what was your reaction to the John Gruden situation and how the Raiders handled it?
I think it's unfortunate. I think football's a game that, from my standpoint, what I love about the game is that it brings people together. It really brings people from all walks of life together. So you hate to see anything that's, brings any type of division or brings any type of division. I guess that's the word I'll use. At the same time, I believe in forgiveness. I do. I would hate to, I never want to judge someone based on the worst thing they've ever said or done. I don't think anybody here would. I know I wouldn't. So from that standpoint, I guess that's how I feel about it. I would never judge someone based on the worst thing they've ever done or the worst thing they've ever said. But I do think the whole thing's unfortunate. Obviously, there's consequences for your actions and the things you say, and I think we all should learn something from it.
Is Devontae or Adam Shaheen ready to practice?
Shaheen will be out there. Devontae will not. Devontae will not be out of practice today.
Coach, back when you drafted Javon Holland, you had mentioned his communication and leadership skill set as something that attracted you to the player. And now, in Sunday's game, he played more snaps than a defensive back. I was just curious, 5 games into the season, how do you think he's coming along in that regard?
I think he's doing a lot of good things. I think he's still learning the NFL game. I think his communication as a young player is good. Hopefully it'll improve. It's something we harp on really on a daily basis with him. He's a sponge. He's a smart kid. He understands. He has a good understanding of the information we're giving him, and he's done a nice job.
Forgive me, I'm not sure if you've ever done the London game before. Have you? And what are some of the challenges that come along with preparing for this?
Yeah, I've coached in 2 games over there. I think the biggest challenge is, the time change, and I think that's something that we were already talking to the players about. 5 hours ahead. So what time is it now? 11. So it's 4 o'clock there, and that initial time change, and getting your body clock on London time so that we can be at a physically at a good level when we're I shouldn't even say good level, at optimum level when we're ready to play on Sunday, which will be 9:30 our time here and 2:30 their time. So that's probably the biggest challenge. But it's a great atmosphere. That I know for sure. The fans there are they love the game of football. So it's a great atmosphere, and we're excited to get out there.
Just coming off that, specifically to Tua's condition, are there extra factors that are put in specifically this week because it is a London game that maybe when you're considering whether or not he's ready or not, that maybe wouldn't come in on a normal week?
No, the flight, that could be something to consider. He had a longer flight, but, with his situation, it's not. This is really just, let's see how this goes in practice. Can he make the throws? Can he, roll to his left, roll to his right, step up in the pocket. One thing we won't know is, just taking a hit. We won't know that until the game, but I think we'll try to do as much as we can to get a feel for what that'll look like or what that'll feel like, without having a setback, obviously. So I'll say this: he's a tough kid, and he's a tough kid.
Brian, I guess for a lot of these guys, it's the first time they'll be going out the country or, seeing London and whatnot. As someone who's done some of these international trips, what's your message to them in terms of, enjoying the trip, but also remembering that it's a business trip as well?
Yeah, I think this is a great experience for a lot of guys on our team who, haven't been outside of the country. There's some guys who are getting a passport for the first time. And I think, we mentioned, what the game does for a lot of people. I know for me, personally, the game's opened up a lot of doors for me, and I think this opens up a door for some of our players who haven't played or haven't been outside of, this country. I don't know how many of you guys know this, but my first coaching job was, or coaching, it wasn't even a job, it was with a club team in Italy. So, guys are smoking cigarettes at halftime, and it's a little different than what I'm dealing with now. But it was a great experience for me, and something that I'll cherish my entire life. Coaching for the Napoli Briganti in Naples, Italy. So that was fun, and I think that's a personal experience of mine, and I think our guys are going to have a similar experience going out to London and doing something that's very different than they've ever done before.
Was there wine at least at halftime?
Plenty of wine. There's plenty of wine.
How did that come about for you?
You talking about Naples? Yes. I had 3-4 buddies from college who, once they were done playing, I went and I started working. They basically were paid to join a club team in Napoli. Not a lot, it was housing and a little bit of a stipend, but it was a great experience for them to go over, visit Europe, or live in Europe. I should not even visit. Live in Europe, play some football, and they were kind of player coaches. That we have some time off in the summer in the NFL, so I think we have 4 or 5 weeks. I went over, not to coach at first, but just to spend some time with friends. One of the coaches had to leave. They asked me to coach, and that was my first coaching job. So I was a defensive coordinator for the Napoli Briganti. I coached 1 game. We lost 6-0. And then I traveled. And then we traveled Italy.
What did you run? What defense did you run?
It's a 4-3. You want to get into that? I ran some strong safety pressures. Tutto bene is about all I got for you. Yeah. So, but yeah, it was a great experience. Still talk to some of the guys on that team now. Made some great friendships, and it's a good story to tell.
It's a great story to tell. You said it opened the door for you. I'm just curious how that one. Granted, you held it to 6, which is admirable, of course. But how did that one game open doors?
I knew I was in scouting at the time, so once I knew I wanted to coach right after that, along with a few other things, and some I was having a lot of thoughts about the future at that time, and it's just kind of one of those things that presented itself, and everything happens for a reason. It really does, and I think that's one of them for me, and I think I'm here where I am today because we're coaching of that time period where I never thought I was going to be coaching. I thought I was just going to be hanging out, drinking wine, the entire, and it turned into, yeah. So,
what is the thing that you remember most about Napoli, about your time there, about the city? It's a great city in Europe.
It's a beautiful city. I mean, it was really, like I'm big on, relationships, and the time I had with some of my closest friends, guys who were, best man in my wedding, just friends that are real close to me. So more than, the place is beautiful, obviously. Naples is beautiful. Amalfi Coast, all that, I mean, it's a beautiful place, but I'm more about people, and more about relationships. So that's kind of what I remember the most. One of the criteria for me to coach the game or coach for these guys was I told them that they had to fly my then girlfriend, now wife, out. They agreed, and then we lost. So the season was over. So we traveled. We traveled it.
One lasso or
Good move.
Did you play at the soccer stadium or where did you play?
No. We played at some little field. Yeah. So pretty much.
You dug into the
was a
food
one-game
while you were
season.
there, didn't you?
Yeah, I had plenty of, food and wine. Plenty.
Do you guys have an activity for Saturday? Maybe go to a game like you have done in the past. The Dolphins are really loved in London. Do you have some plans? Maybe meet with Pulisic or some of the U.S. national team players that are there?
No, I think, once we get there, I think our focus is going to be on the game. And the Jaguars and their team, and they got a good team. It's a young team. It's a talented team. I think they've been in some close games. They've got some good young players, and they've missed some opportunities and had some opportunities to win some games. So I think our focus will be on them and the challenge of this week, and yeah.
What do you see from Trevor Lawrence?
I mean, look, this guy's talented, big arm, accurate, can get out of the pocket, make plays, and he's getting better every week. That's what I'm saying. Thank you, guys.